Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your networking session and a nice lunch as well. Allow me to introduce our next speaker presentation. Australian Vanadium Ltd and the Australian Vanadium Project is one of the highest grade vanadium projects currently being developed in the world. It was awarded federal major project status by the Australian government in September of 2019 in recognition of its national strategic significance, and state lead agency status by the Western Australian government in April 2020 due to its importance as a battery and critical metal project. The Australian Vanadium Project is located 43 kilometres south of the mining town of Meekatharra in Western Australia and has a processing plant located near Geraldton. Joining us today is Vincent Algar, Australian Vanadium's Managing Director. He's a geologist by profession with over 27 years experience in the mining industry, spanning underground and open cut operations, greenfields exploration, project development and mining services in both Western Australia and South Africa. Since 2015, Vincent has been Managing Director of Australian Vanadium and is responsible for advancing the company's high-profile and high-grade Australian Vanadium Project. Please welcome the Managing Director of Australian Vanadium to the stage, Vincent Algar.
Thanks, Nicola. Thanks very much. And very pleased to be using this platform. I'll just go straight into the presentation itself. Let's hope all works well here. And we can get into a bit more about our company. Now, my understanding of the way this audience is structured is that we really are talking about an understanding of our project, its current level, what we intend to do and how we intend to go about it. So I'll give you a bit of an outline of the company itself, what the project is about, so you can get your head around it. It is quite an unusual project in the sense that we are dealing with a commodity that is not commonplace, but it is a very essential commodity. And don't forget that vanadium is a critical mineral, and the critical mineral list is fairly short. The implication of a critical mineral is something that is needed, that is needed in the world to enhance and maintain civilizational standards, and those sources are very difficult to find, especially in the US and Europe, Korea and Japan. So just let me get onto the right screen. Our disclaimer, just a quick look at the company itself. Just in summary, what do we do? We've built a fantastic team around the development of this project. It is reaching a critical stage now as we look towards a bankable feasibility study in the coming quarter. We have mentioned in the intro, both major project status and lead agency status with state and federal governments, which is really important when it comes to critical minerals. Vanadium has an additional benefit of being a battery mineral and a critical mineral, and the development of those within the Australian context as a supply chain alternative to the Chinese market is really, really important. And we'll talk a little about all of those things as we go along. But most importantly, we are an emerging producer, and we're heading down that last lap towards production. We're a publicly traded ASX company under the stock code AVL. We have a number of shareholders, but we have a market cap of around $70 million. The stock trades very well, and we have about $4 million in the bank. The team is really something I'm pretty proud of having developed over time since I've been here for nearly 6 years now. So Todd and Daniel are vanadium experts. Daniel and they've both been involved with vanadium here in Australia, but also globally. Todd's here with us in Perth developing the project as the COO. And we have Daniel based in the US who has extensive experience in technical delivery. Cliff is a very well-known executive in the Perth environment, and globally has been involved in some pretty successful companies and large deals, and very pleased to have his experience on the board. Les, myself, and Sam are here on the trenches in the office, developing and making sure this project moves forward as well with Todd's help. So what have we been focused on? Developing a project that'll have not only a high-grade ore body to start with, which is really still the most important thing, but also to become a low-cost developer. And that's where a lot of the companies and equipment suppliers and partners that we might see in our audience today might be able to help us achieve these goals. Just a quick background on the project. Where is it? It's located south of Meekatharra, 43 kilometres south of Meekatharra on the Sandstone Road. For those who know, we will up there, we will build a concentrator and a mine. So we'll mine the ore in an open pit mine over a 25-year initial mine life, moving about 1.6 million tons a year of ore and about 3 or 4 times that in waste. And then we will pick that concentrate up. That's a physically beneficiated concentrate. And we will truck that ore down to a processing plant site near Mullawa. The reason for this is that we have significant benefit from the Australian gas network that allows us to achieve these low-cost operating costs that we are planning to achieve. So we will have need for road transportation. A really important aspect of this for us is that the road transportation sees a decarbonisation future. So any of those in the audience interested in road transportation in Western Australia, you would already know that decarbonisation of that transport alternative is really important for us, and it's a key part of our tender process going forward. Based at Mullawa, we will produce 2 products: a vanadium product, which, as I reminded someone the other day, is around twice the value of copper in terms of its value, about $8 or $9 a pound. That's really an important metric for us. It's very valuable material we'll be producing. Onshore Australia, high-value production. And as a byproduct, we produce an iron titanium feedstock, which we will be able to export through the Port of Geraldton. Just in terms of the overall numbers, 32 million tonne reserve gives us a 25-year mine life at the bottom of the cost curve for this particular project. A long-life project, something worth investing in, something worth being involved in. Good capital returns, good revenue returns annually, and a good opportunity to be involved in on a state basis. Bit of geology, really just to show that the deposit is covering about 11 kilometres of strike. We have a long continuous strike, and we've been able to develop that over time. Very consistent ore body, and the processing is really something we've spent a lot of time understanding because it's a key part of this. But the deposit grade, the purple horizon there, which we'll mine in an open pit, is very consistent throughout that length and enables us to produce a very good outcome in terms of the processing circuit we design. Just a quick snapshot from the magnetics. You can see each of those ore blocks that we'll mine over time is very consistent in grade in terms of vanadium. Just so the viewers can see, 1% is a good grade for a head grade of a vanadium project. 0.3 or 0.4 is not a good grade. So when any deposit is not at that grade level, it's got a lot of hard work to do to get out. So we're focusing on that high-grade layer. Just a quick look at the infrastructure. Multiple open pits, active at once, feeding a central magnetic separation and flotation plant that then gets trucked on the road out on a new road. Just another opportunity here. A new road that has to be developed across to the Reedy's mine site and then out onto the main road down to Mullawa. So there's an opportunity for road developers and contractors on that side of things as well. We are very interested in engagement on with Indigenous partners who can help us, particularly in and around the Meekatharra area. So it's worth noting on that side of things. I'll skip through the slide just to show the feed is very consistent. And this is a little 3D graphic image from the design elements of the process plant on the bottom and the concentrator on the top. You can see the footprint of both is relatively small. The ore body is on the left-hand side in the diagram. So what are we focused on when we've been doing this project? We've been focusing on some innovation around, particularly around the kiln. So this process flow sheet shows how we've actually developed, and some of the people watching can see some of the gear we're using here, and I'll talk about that a bit later. But vanadium projects generally get into the mid-80s in terms of recovery. When they use a kiln like we will be using to oxidize the vanadium and oxidize the vanadium ore and extract the vanadium from it. But by using a pelletizer and a grate kiln, we've shown that we can significantly improve this outcome. This is a really key part of our project delivery. And we look to actually delivering a very high magnetic recovery from the initial processing of the concentrate as well, at a world-class level. So the innovation, as I mentioned, about the two separated plant gives us an opportunity to sell this byproduct. The target market at the moment would be offshore, but we're looking at local applications for that material as well. It's an iron titanium containing material, around 55% of iron and about 15% of titanium. So quite an interesting product, but one that we think will attract a premium in certain markets in Southeast Asia. The existing gas network is to our benefit in terms of gas pricing and helps us reduce our operating cost. Our desire to be close to the port of Geraldton means that we can build up a workforce in Geraldton and have that workforce living locally in a decent town. Fly and flight is a toxic culture. I know it's very necessary for our state, but we will constantly look to improve that. And if we can have at least half of our mine site working and living in a town like Geraldton, where they can go surfing every night and in the summertime, and go to the kids' footy on the weekend, is really important for us to be involved in. And we want to build that skills base up in Geraldton so that they can support a long life operation. So it's very important these days, and something that any participant or people who want to talk to us about working with us or being involved with us must know that we are serious about our carbon reduction strategy. This is for a number of reasons. Internally, we believe this is the right thing. Our investors are believing it, and therefore they won't give us money if we don't have that strategy. But also our permitting will be dependent on it as well. So understanding the use of renewable energy and hydrogen in our generation of power, our use of our gas, our transportation, are really key aspects that incoming parties to us need to address. Lastly, to that effect, we already have an MOU in place with ATCO, who are developing hydrogen capacity in our region up in the Midwest. I've mentioned this already. It's really important to engage with government at these times, particularly when it comes to critical minerals, both at a federal and state level. The battery minerals as well are getting lots of attention, and we as a company are very focused on that. So just getting down to what it means, what the project actually means on the ground in terms of opportunities. And this is really the key part of this development. During construction, we'll have over 500 jobs, settling down to 250 to 240 jobs in total after construction, 120 at each site. The Geraldton-based site will source most of its people from Geraldton, with trainees, etc., as well involved. The site near Meekatharra will fly in and out of Meekatharra and be based on a mine camp up there. That'd be good if there'd be interchange between those two. We believe as well that we want to involve as much local activity within both of the towns as possible. We're a member of the Chamber of Commerce of the Midwest in Geraldton, and are very active there. We have a member of staff in Geraldton at the moment working on community liaison opportunities. Amy Chadbourne is available for contact and opportunities in that area. So we're very keen to work also with Meekatharra. Our team is already active in the Meekatharra community with sports and business opportunities in the Business Council. So any interaction, whether it be Indigenous related or general, and any opportunity for the community, we'd love to be involved with getting in contact with people. So who do we need when we build these things? That's a fairly comprehensive list, but I thought I'd put it up, and hopefully people watching can get a good snapshot of that. So the types of people are going to be all the people we would normally need on a mine site. We probably will go for a contractor mine site workforce, but we will also be looking at certain aspects of the geology, obviously, which we will control ourselves. So the normal support services. But I think my biggest challenge and challenge of the industry is creating and maintaining a strong processing and engineering and maintenance workforce, which we hope we can do a lot of through training in Geraldton and involving people for the long term. So the types of gear we'll be needing, this is a roaster, a roasted product, but we also have magnetic separators, but these are the types of things: crusher, a sag mill, pressure filters for various parts of the concentrate, the grade kiln itself, various coolers and belt filters and conveyors are the types of equipment we need. Services, obviously we're working with wood at the moment in terms of our detailed engineering design work, but are open to approaches for the downstream engineering work in the feed study and construction. There's road work, there's a lot of steel work, camp design and services, and a mining contractor, which is one of our key opportunities as well. Again, with the mining contractor and the mining contract work, as a company philosophy, we're very interested in looking at ways to make that efficiency the best it can be by the use of the best technology available. Just in summary then, who is AVL and what makes us unique as an opportunity? We are one of the highest grades and most advanced opportunities, vanadium opportunities in the world. The project is unique in terms of its geology and our understanding thereof. We've spent nearly 2 years since our first PFS in locking in a very solid understanding of this geology. It's really important because we see so many projects skip that bit and hope that the deposit will behave. We really are spending a lot of time on that so that when we mine this thing and process it, we'll get the result we expect from our extensive test work and piloting work. We've made some innovations to the roasting and processing. We think that is going to be a significant output for us when we get the project into production. And likewise, the team is really the top-tier team, I think. I feel that globally in terms of being in charge of a very, very good and solid team that understands its product and understands the pathway forward. There are a number of things about our location and design that are also fairly unique and not to be found even in the world of vanadium. Just worth noting that in the vanadium market, outside of China, there are only 3 primary vanadium mines currently in operation, and AVL plans to make itself the 4th. So what are we doing now? We've achieved a lot of our goals around the resource and the feasibility and the early parts of the feasibility study and the mining lease being granted. We're working furiously now on finalising our bankable study, getting our schedule as optimised as possible, and then finance and offtake are our key component work for the coming months. Obviously, past of the BFS completion, working with partners, both engineering, design, construction, EPCM, is really important, and get those after financial close, get those long lead items ordered and underway. So our priorities are very clear. We have a very good understanding of where we're going. We know exactly what we want to do, and we think the project supports that. We look to go to investors to make sure that they understand that at the large scale level, both debt and equity funding in our future, like any company in this space, but a good opportunity not only as an investment but also as an opportunity to work with companies who wish to offer us their services in this area as we go through the final stages. So with that, we'll end. Please, any questions that might come our way. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks so much. It's so interesting. And I wonder if I could ask you, just for our cohort, explain to us what vanadium is, because it's such a versatile mineral and can be used in so many applications. And the project is so very focused on the opportunities in the renewable energy sector, which are surmountable, the reduction in emissions in steel and construction industries manufacture, but also the availability to create renewable energy sources that would bring power to remote areas and reduce diesel use in generators and things like that. It's such a versatile mineral.
Yeah, and I couldn't have said it better myself. So there you go. You've given me the one-liner I didn't need. So I think the slide up there, everyone can still see, is that you've got these primary markets. So steel has been a primary market for vanadium, continues to be. The Chinese steel market uses vanadium, as the largest user and producer of vanadium. They use it in their steel bars for construction. In so doing, the more vanadium you use in that steel, the less cement you need, stronger the building, and also the lower the carbon footprint of that building. So there's already an impact of using more vanadium in the steel right there, and it's a very big impact. So we really are about encouraging the use of more vanadium in steel, both in China and outside of China. And already the rest of the world uses more vanadium in its steel anyway because of standards being higher. But that's changing, and we're seeing a general. And that as that general demand for vanadium in steel goes up, so does the requirement for mines like our own. The other critical application is obviously in high strength alloys, titanium, vanadium alloys, which are used in defense applications and a number of other applications. Vanadium is also used in a chemical catalyst capability. As you said, very versatile metal. But then the real exciting part for us is its emerging use in energy storage. So with decarbonisation comes the need for more renewables. With more renewables, you need more storage. What you really need, it's not short-term storage. You need long duration, high capacity storage, and that can only be provided at the moment in one of two ways. One, through using pumped hydro, which is effectively big dams. If we live in a flat country and have not many dam opportunities, then stationary energy storage is the way to go. And vanadium redox flow batteries are infinitely scalable, and for us, they're very exciting because they use a lot of vanadium to achieve that goal. But very, very robust products, and will be an emerging space that AVL is very involved in through its subsidiary VSUN Energy, through looking to develop markets. Another research area and also a very high impact area is obviously using more vanadium in the cathode material components of lithium-ion batteries. And we know there's research going on around the world for that. And that's probably something that will only emerge in a number of years' time, but it is being researched now. We know that research is advancing significantly. So just watch this space. Make sure you're on board in terms of vanadium production, and be on with the right company that can produce it at the lowest cost. So I mentioned the criticality. So there's a quick slide here. I think this one. So already using vanadium will already bring global emissions down by nearly 4%. Now
that's significant.
That's a very significant number. And, that 260, this is a published paper down on the bottom of the screen. The team at Texas A&M doing excellent quantitative work to show the benefit of using more vanadium in steel. So along with energy storage, more vanadium in your steel means you can start going a long way to delivering on some of these goals. So we're super excited by what we can do and how we can achieve these goals here in WA.
Am I right in saying that because of some of the properties of vanadium, it's less corrosive, it's a very versatile mineral, we've talked about that. Can it actually make some of these other minerals more stable when it's used in process?
Well, yes, I think interestingly you say that about the energy storage side. The work that has been done in lithium ion, the one reason why you would use lithium ion vanadium phosphate batteries or chemistry in a battery is that vanadium is there to keep that structure open, just as an example. It keeps and therefore it increases the chargeability, the speed of charging a lithium ion battery, and the life of the battery, the cycle life. And those are really key important things in EVs. When you're talking about using it in steel and in steel products, it has particularly that strengthening capability that can outlast other steel applications, or even better, when you're not using any vanadium in your steel, it makes it very brittle, and the likelihood of, particularly in earthquake-prone countries like China and Southeast Asia and Japan, high vanadium steels are really, really important for high-quality, long-lasting buildings, which, again, reduces need to replace cement and replace steel over time. So some very good implications there for longevity.
Absolutely. And listening to your presentation about how you're establishing your project in WA, I must say it's so refreshing to hear so many corporate entities now actually taking that work-lifestyle balance for their employees into account. And having been to Geraldton many years ago, it's quite a robust regional centre. It's beautiful country there, and I can imagine that as a city in that community engagement, you would be being embraced by the local community.
Yeah, I think we really are. We've taken a particular view that, and this has really come from a board view. Some of our directors have been involved with remote operations, so they know the difficulties around those day-to-day issues that people face, right from mental health through to logistics, management, making sure that skills are on site. There's so many issues around it, and but the family issue is really the big one. And I think where you can change that, where you have the capacity to change that, you should change it. And so we've taken that view, having someone in town, really pitching it such that we can get community engagement with that, working with the Chamber of Commerce in Geraldton, getting involved with various summits and other activities. And in fact, we've got a workshop in Geraldton next week where us and a couple of other companies are going to be doing a show and tell about AVL in Geraldton next week. And I'm going to a function on Friday night for the Chamber, which we're sponsoring along with Aluka. So yeah, really getting involved with what's going on. And Geraldton's come a long way. I think it's got a long way to go. It's got so much to offer people as a Midwest regional town and city, right the way across. So we really want to be there and make it work for everybody.
And it's kind of giving you the opportunity to future-proof your business as well. Like, we all understand and appreciate the challenges that industry has had in the last 12 to 18 months with the pandemic, and having workers flying across border, it just isn't sustainable in our communities right now.
No, that's right. And I think one of the things that, will always, as the world comes back, is having people come in to the state from outside, and in order for them to bring their families with them is such a key aspect, right? And you could poach someone from Melbourne or Sydney, or as it was in the past, but the guys have had such a bad experience getting back and being with people. So I think if you bring people over, they've got to have a really compelling reason to come and bring the whole family. They need to have a good school down the road, and there's all those opportunities in a regional town. And even coming into Perth and being able to get to somewhere that's not that far away, and even people who are based here will for the Meekatharra site will have the benefit of choosing a Geraldton pathway or another pathway. So we're just excited about what we can do. The Geraldton community is a little bit gun-shy, I have to say, after the last iron ore boom. So I think the mid-sized projects wanting to put their efforts into the town are really important. So the development of the hydrogen industry there is going to be really exciting for Geraldton too. And we're obviously looking at ways to integrate with that hydrogen opportunity through the project by reducing the carbon footprint, say with ADCO's work, for example. So lots of exciting things happening up there, but always a difficult haul for the smaller companies, and that's why working with good partners is really important for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I thoroughly enjoyed your presentation. I'm really excited to see what you do achieve in the long term, and I'm looking forward to getting to Geraldton again. It's certainly turning into WA's boomtown right now.
Well, it's got a great new ferry going out to the Abrolhos every day, I think, and a great place to go and see all the tourist sites out there as well. So it's a place we're going. Great coffee, great breakfasts, great hotels, and great projects like our own.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vincent. If anybody would like to talk to Vincent and his team, please head over to the booths on the left-hand side of your screen and head to the Australian Vanadium booth.